Good morning. It is 8:49 on July 28th, 7/28, 2021. Today I want to talk about man's free will versus God's grace and mercy. Sometimes we think that things happen and it's God versus free will that we have to choose. If I choose to get upset and ram the car in front of me, there are consequences for that. If I choose to make decisions that affect the people around me, that's not God. If I choose to be selfish and not pay the money for supporting my children, then there is a consequence for that action. And it goes back to seed time and harvest time. What are we seeding in life? What responsibility are we taking around? What responsibility are we taking for not just ourselves, but for those around us? So my brain is kind of branching off into different areas where this is. If I'm a husband, decisions that I make affect my household. If I'm a wife, decisions that I make affect my household. If I'm a child, decisions that I make affect my household. Okay, let's look at some examples of that. If I choose to work myself literally to death versus take care of my health, I will not be around for my family in years to come. If I choose, and that's as a husband or even a wife, if I choose to bombard my mind with a lot of different ideas, thoughts, principalities, and open myself up to practicing some of these ideals that may not be conducive or biblically sound or even godly, I affect my household. Ladies, you have to be a steward over the garden of your mind, and you have to recognize what is of God and what is not of God, because guess what? If you don't, you're going to affect your, especially if you're a wife, you're going to affect your household. If you're a mother, you're going to affect your household. If you're trying to be with someone, you're going to affect that relationship, because your mind will be set on things that are not conducive or productive for the relationship, for the caring of your child, for the partnership of the relationship. Children, if you do not honor your parents, you create a self-inflicted curse on yourself. From Old to New Testament, it says, honor thy mother and father, so it may be well with thee, with you. And this is adult children too now. So don't think that because you're an adult that you can dishonor your parents and think things gonna be okay. You're causing a curse on yourself. You're causing negativity to come about you. If you choose not to forgive, you are being toxic to yourself. You're connecting yourself to something and or someone that may not even have a clue about how you feel about them, and killing yourself inside. The free will gives you a choice to choose life or death. Old Testament, Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 17. I set before you a choice. Choose life. I set before you life or death. Choose life. Again, I say choose life. John 10:10. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But I have come so that you may have life and have it more abundantly. The thief ain't just the devil. The thief is the mindset. Think about trap music. It ain't just about selling dope out the trap. It's about a mindset. They got you trapped in a lifestyle that is not productive. I'm looking over my shoulder. All I can do is pay a B or a H. Because you can't get a real woman. Because they're not going to deal with that kind of stuff. And they don't want to deal with that type of lifestyle. And they're only going to be loyal to the money and the lifestyle. Oh, yeah, let's go knock this dude up. But I'm not loyal to the real stuff. I'm not loyal to letting you really in to be vulnerable enough to grow with you, because guess what? You ain't made me feel safe. And as soon as you get broke, guess what? The high is gone and the real stuff starts setting into reality. And the fantasy is gone and the highs are gone, and I'm not here for long. So, hey, so long, I'm gone. Where my money at? Where my high at? So, free will, right? Because of my mindset, right? One, the devil. Maybe the devil allowed this thought to come out onto the earth or whatever. But at the same time, you chose to follow that. You chose that indoctrination. You chose that mindset. Same thing with the dudes. You know, if you ain't letting me do this, that, and the other to you, then hey, deuces. You know, the trap of the music. And even some of these love songs. Think of, I was listening to a certain artist, I'm not gonna call her name, but it's talking about, the theme of it was about a fast car driving, but it was just talking about so much stuff. You know, hey, let's get away from here. You don't have a job. I'm a cashier, and let's drive across the border and start over. Maybe we can do something different. Yeah, there's hope there. It was something in the song that I was listening to. Bad example, but the point I'm trying to make is, what are we ministering to ourselves as we use our mouth power to speak out spells over our life? Every word is a spelling word. Every word is spelled. Casting spells? Oh, but you don't believe in it. Oh, okay. Well, let's look at it like this. Your mouth has power. God created you in his image. Let us make man in our own image, Genesis chapter 1. And God said, let there be light. And God said. And God said. Okay, so let us make man in our own image. So if we made in the image of God, that means we can speak things, right? How many times have you spoken something and it happened? How many times have you thought something and it happened? How many times have you recognized the power of your mouth? What is coming out of your mouth? What is coming out of your mouth, and what is the fruit of your life producing? So going back to, let's listen to the music we're listening to. Is it a reflection somewhat of our life? Are we trying to live up to the standards of some teenagers who are usually getting high and all this other stuff? I mean, really? Is that it? So, okay, so if you should be listening to them, then why are teachers held to a standard they shouldn't be doing drugs and this, that, and the other? Even though some of them do. But I'm just saying, they shouldn't be doing drugs and this, that, and the other. And if they are, then it's like, oh, and politicians and stuff, they shouldn't be doing all this stuff, and some of them do. But so it's okay for the artists to do it, who we program our mind to, but it's not okay for the leaders of our children to. Oh, but you're leading your child by listening to this music around them. You're indoctrinating them by listening to this music around them. But I'm crazy, right? I'm crazy to think that our free will has given us a choice to what we attend our mind to and choose to live up to by these fantasies and fallacies that are not reality, but at the same time, we sit up here trying to live our life and make it manifest to, hey, I'm gonna make $1 million in a year. What are you doing to make $1 million in a year? What do you have to make $1 million in a year? You're not gonna make $1 million in a year off your body. You not. It's not gonna happen. You gotta have some multiple investments. What you gonna think you gonna work at Walmart and make $1 million? Psh, they don't even give you a full 40 hours most of the time. What you talking about? Oh, you think you're gonna work for Amazon? Oh, they trying to get rid of y'all because think about these self-driving cars. And by the way, they full of robots over there. You gonna make $1 million, right? But this is the mindset that the music has set out there so that you can receive and believe in something that God won't even support. But we want to blame God for the person that raped so-and-so. We want to blame God for that, right? Oh, that ain't God. God is love. We want to blame God because that woman left you and, well, maybe she never wanted to be with you in the first place. And you kept pushing her and she finally chose. Or you mad because you got this woman, but you got her in a dark place. You weren't at your best self. So you got somebody in a dark place. So you attracted darkness. Now you mad that you living in darkness. You living with darkness. You done came back to the light, but you think they just supposed to come back because you came back? It don't work like that. It don't work. But that's God, right? That's God's fault because the responsibility that we refused to take was not put in place. So our face is all disgusted and we fussing at our situation and we fussing at God because guess what? Free will. And I'm talking to myself, so that's why I'm getting so energized with this. I'm not saying every example is myself, but I'm talking to myself as I say this, as well as you, because sometimes I do like the trap beats. Yeah, that beat got me hooked. Ooh, yeah, I love that beat. Ooh, 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 ooh. But them words got me shook. Like, nah, I can't listen to this. So I do the instrumental. And even sometimes I have to think about my mental because it's like, what is the energy that created this? And when I look at the energy that created this, it's like, it's still a piece of art. In certain countries, Africa, they are mindful of who made the artwork because there's a certain energy that's put on it. Who created this? What energy created this? Music is still a form of art. So let's think about whose beat we're tapping our feet to as we try to make their reality true and keep falling short because the fallacy did not come through. I'm just saying, what you gonna do? You gonna keep blaming God because of what you didn't do or what you did do? Or you gonna keep blaming God because you failed to take responsibility for educating your mind enough to study the consequences of the decisions? Dr. Miles Monroe. We don't study the consequences of decisions enough. You gotta study the consequences of the decisions that you make. You gotta study the mate you take long enough to say, this is worth it. And if you keep having sex with that mate, you creating a commitment, a soul tie, a bond, a string, a cord that says, I'm connected at the very least to this person. And if you don't study them enough, you get in this cycle of makeup and breakup, or just lascivious living and promiscuity, whatever that is, adultery, if you're married, and you try and make this person be something that they never were, and you're not patient enough to be solid enough for them to grow through their transition to see you as a light in their dark place, but you want to go because you feel disgraced because that's what you chose. You chose the stroke You chose the comfort. You chose whatever it was that made you stay around long enough to commit to it. But now you reject it because it didn't tap to the tune you was trying to get them to do. That's something to think about. Why you keep trying to make people be something that they really not? Now, seed time and harvest time is something different. But when I choose somebody with a mindset that's already not in line with where I'm trying to be, and I already know that from the gate, what are you doing? It's right there in front of your face, but you gonna make this person, men and women, you gonna make this person be something that they not. They already told you who they are. They showed you who they are. But you keep trying to make them something that they're not. Now I'm gonna tell you this. If God told you to stick by this person because you done chose them already, now take this now. You done made a choice already. And God said, hey, I'm gonna honor your commitment with this. Stay bound. I'll show you the unfolding. That's different. Versus, I keep choosing to be with this person, and God done said, told you already, this ain't the one. This, I'm not gonna bless this. But we want to blame God, and we want to run to God like that ain't working. This. No, I ain't tell you I was gonna bless that relationship. You got a right to choose who you want to be with, but there are consequences for it. If you choose somebody that God not gonna bless you to be with, guess what? It's not gonna work out. If you choose somebody that you're gonna have to grow with a bit for it to evolve into the relationship that you would love it to be, guess what? It's gonna take time, and you gotta stop being so impatient. Just because you're in a microwave world, that don't mean you serve a microwave God. Yes, he can do things at a twinkling of an eye. However, there's still some things that when you're dealing with people, it takes time for change. It takes situations to happen to help them renew their mind, and it takes time to renew their mind. Think of how long it took you to learn how to tie your shoes when you was a kid. Think of how long it took you to learn how to do whatever it was. It took you a while to learn how to do it. Everybody has their gift. Everybody has their strengths. Everybody has their shortcomings. Everybody has their weaknesses. We all have our learning curve on certain things, and just because I'm a rocket scientist, that don't mean I'm socially equipped to handle all the stresses of life. Let me break that down. Just because I can understand how the thesis of Kepler's law of whatever, okay, or Maslow's and Piaget and all these other things apply to teaching and educating and stuff like that, doesn't mean that I am gifted with the people skills to give the grace and mercy that a person needs. Character is built. It takes time to build that character. Jesus didn't really get started until about 30 years. So, like, what are we talking about? There was development. John chapter 2, Jesus was a full-grown man when he did his first miracle at a wedding. I digress. And I believe it was Jesus died when he was 33. So he did all this stuff in 3 years. I digress. So, anyhow, we make choices. Choices have repercussions, good or bad. Our choice is our free will. It's not love if I make you love me. It's not love if I make you love me. God can make us do things, but at the same time, is it received as love if he makes us do it? God can set things in motion to help guide us, but is it love if he has to force us to do something? If your mate is forced to do something for you, it's not as received as if they do it for you willingly. So both of y'all go with the unfulfilled experience. The real love is, baby, I want you. and the submission happily to do whatever that I want you means. The sincerity of the love. So my point is, are you going to do what God told you to do? Really? Are you going to do what God told you to do? Are you going to renew your mind, take the time, refine your skills in relating to God, hearing Him, reading His word enough to have that connection to know His voice versus the other stuff? It took me years to get this. And when I got it, I started training my kids. No, read that. What did that say to you? How does that relate to your life right now? What do you think God is telling you about that? Yeah, it's called training. What you doing with your kids? What are you training them to do? Who are you training them to be? Just like your mistakes, just like your faults. Man, please. At the end of the day, you choose what you raise your kids to be. You choose the generational curse that you allow to be passed on to them by training them in the same messed up stuff that you was trained in. You choose to recognize when you become grown to keep repeating the cycle that you know is wrong, but you still want to serve that throne of that principality or that power or that negativity or that demon and devil that wants you to live backwards, which means evil. You didn't catch that. If you spell, casting that spell, huh? The word live is L-I-V-E. Backwards is spelled E-V-I-L. So if you backwards living, you evil. And whatever you doing, by your choice. For whatever reason, it's your choice. You chose to do that. Ignorant or not, ignorant is bliss. That's a lie from hell. You know why? Because guess what? It's not producing the fruit of life that it should. You need to know certain things. You don't need the experience of everything. Why do you need to get high? Off some heroin or some cocaine or marijuana or whatever this is, unless you're using it for medicinal purposes. Yeah, morphine is for medicinal purposes. If you got your arm cut off, you might need some morphine for a little while to numb that pain so that thing can heal. If you got different disorders like cancer or whatever, yeah, you might need some marijuana for that or whatever. Okay? Cataracts, different things. Heroin, I don't think it's for nothing. I don't think you need to use that for nothing. But my point is, those things, certain substances have their place, but at the same time, we should not abuse certain substances. But that's a choice too. So if you want to live your life staying high and fly, think about it. Where you gonna land when the high goes away? What you gonna land on? Are the problems still gonna be there? Are the problems multiplied because you still tripping? You still on that trip of trying to do everything and be everything that you see, living that fantasy and not coming back to the reality of it takes work to gain something. It takes people skills to come together to have something valuable, long term. In life we choose, and we can't blame God for everything that went wrong. And yes, sometimes God makes things uncomfortable. Look at Job, for whatever reason. Or to get your attention to say, hey, you need to relate to me because you about to go down the wrong path. I'm trying to show you this ain't right for you. I'm trying to show you that this ain't safe for you, but you want to do it anyway. I done told you, I done blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. I done blocked all these times for you. Now you got it. All right, I'll turn you over to a reprobate mind. I try to protect you from it, but you got it now. When junk turn on you, guess what? Don't come blaming me because I tried to keep you from it. Take care of your health. Your health is your wealth. Take care of your mental health. Because if you're not mentally healthy and emotionally healthy, guess what? You cannot fight the good fight of faith. You become weak. And you just, I gotta have something to coddle me I need a pacifier. And grown folk pacifiers is usually is anger, violence, medication on sex, substance, combination of the above. Make a choice. Change for the better. If you need to contact me, look in the description. We can find a prescription to help you heal and be whole. Lord, thank you that we are able to change our mind, to renew our mind, and that you hold our hand because you know that we are weak, but you are strong. Hold on to our hand. Don't let go. Help us to transition through this situation to be better, to be more than conquerors, to live life in abundance, in the full, to the overflow, to be more than conquerors. Help us, Lord. Help us. We trust you. We know your word is true. And even if we don't, thank you for holding our hand enough to allow us to trust you, to allow us to grow, to allow us to be better, to allow us the grace and mercy and truth and love, which is all of it, to be balanced, to be saved from our own stupid decisions, ignorant decisions. Help us to know what we don't know. Help us to see what we can't see. For your glory on our story. In Jesus' name. Be blessed.